tiny parrot flew straight into a burning forest while every other animal was running away. Everyone thought he was crazy. The gods watching from heaven thought he was wasting his time. But this little parrot was about to teach the entire universe a lesson about never giving up. This is a true Buddhist story. It's called the Jataka Tale of the Parrot. And just like the elephant story, Buddhists believe this parrot was actually the Buddha in one of his past lives. But right now, he's just a small bird with wet feathers, flying into an impossible situation. Let me tell you what happened. There was a forest, beautiful forest, huge trees that had been growing for hundreds of years, rivers flowing through it, flowers everywhere, and thousands of animals living there. Birds, deer, monkeys, rabbits, tigers, elephants, every kind of animal you can imagine. They all lived together in this forest, and living in one of the trees was a parrot. Small parrot, bright green feathers. Nothing special about him really. Just one bird among thousands. But this parrot loved his forest. He'd been born there, grew up there. His parents had lived in that same tree. His grandparents too. His whole family history was in that forest. Every morning he'd wake up and fly around, looking at the tall trees, listening to the river, talking to his friends. He knew every branch, every flower, every animal. This forest wasn't just where he lived. It was his home. One day, something terrible happened. It was the dry season. No rain for months. Everything was brown and crispy. And somehow, somewhere in the forest, a fire started. Maybe lightning hit a tree. Maybe a dead branch fell on some dry leaves. Doesn't matter how it started. What matters is that it spread. Fire in a dry forest spreads fast. Really fast. The smoke started rising. Animals smelled it and started running. Deer were jumping over bushes trying to escape. Monkeys were swinging through trees heading away from the flames. Birds were flying away as fast as their wings could carry them. Everyone was running for their lives. The parrot woke up and saw the smoke. He flew up high to see what was happening, and his heart sank. Flames. Everywhere. The fire had already spread through a huge part of the forest. Trees that had stood for hundreds of years were burning like matches. The beautiful flowers were turning to ash. The river was getting covered in smoke, and the fire was getting bigger every second. The parrot's friends flew past him. "Come on, we have to go. The whole forest is going to burn." The parrot looked at his tree, the tree where he was born, where his parents had lived. He looked at the other trees, the ones he'd played in as a baby. He looked at the river, where he'd learned to drink water. His whole world was burning, and every smart animal was leaving. But the parrot made a different choice. He flew down to the river, dipped his whole body in the water until his feathers were soaking wet. Then he flew straight toward the fire. When he got close to the flames, he shook his body hard. Little drops of water flew off his feathers and landed on the fire. Then he flew back to the river, dipped himself in again, flew back to the fire, shook off more drops, back to the river, back to the fire, back to the river, back to the fire, over and over and over. His friends saw what he was doing and they couldn't believe it. "What are you doing?" they shouted. "You can't put out a forest fire with a few drops of water. Are you crazy? Come with us." But the parrot didn't stop. He just kept flying. River, fire, river, fire. His wings were getting tired. The smoke was making it hard to breathe. The heat from the fire was burning his feathers, but he didn't stop. "You're going to die," his friends yelled. "That fire is huge. You're just one tiny bird. Give up." The parrot looked at them, and you know what he said? "This is my home. I have to try." And he went back to the river. Now, the gods were watching this from heaven. Because in Buddhist stories, the gods are always watching when something important happens. They saw this tiny parrot flying back and forth, drops of water so small you could barely see them, hitting a fire so big it was burning down an entire forest. One of the gods started laughing. "Look at that stupid bird. Does he really think he can put out that fire? He's wasting his time." Other gods laughed too. Someone should tell him to give up. This is embarrassing to watch. But one god wasn't laughing. The king of the gods. His name was Saka, and he was watching the parrot very carefully. He saw the determination in the parrot's eyes. He saw how tired the parrot was getting. He saw the parrot's wings shaking from exhaustion. But he also saw that the parrot wasn't stopping. Sokka decided to test the parrot. He wanted to know if this little bird really meant it. Sokka transformed himself into a big golden eagle and flew down to where the parrot was flying. The parrot was just about to dip into the river again when this huge eagle appeared right in front of him. "Little parrot," the eagle said, "what are you doing?" The parrot was surprised, but he answered, "I'm putting out the fire." The eagle looked at the massive forest fire, then looked at the tiny parrot, then started laughing. "You put out that fire? Look at you. You're tiny. Those drops of water you're carrying are so small they evaporate before they even touch the flames. You've been doing this for hours, and the fire hasn't gotten any smaller. In fact, it's getting bigger." The parrot knew all this was true, but he said, "I still have to try." "Why?" the eagle asked. "You could just fly away. Save yourself. Let the forest burn. Forests burn all the time. That's nature. Why are you wasting your energy on something impossible?" The parrot stopped flying for a moment. He looked at the eagle, and he said something that changed everything. "This forest gave me everything. The tree I was born in, the branches I learned to fly from, the fruit I ate when I was hungry, the river that gave me water when I was thirsty. My friends, my family, my whole life. The forest never asked me for anything in return. It just gave and gave and gave. Now the forest needs help. I know I'm small. I know my drops of water are tiny. I know I probably can't put out this fire. But how could I just fly away? How could I give up without even trying? Even if I fail, at least I tried. At least I didn't abandon my home. At least I can say I did everything I could. This forest was always here for me, so I'm going to be here for the forest." Then the parrot flew back to the river to get more water. Sokka, still looking like an eagle, just floated there in the air, stunned. He'd been a god for thousands of years. He'd seen powerful kings, wise sages, mighty warriors, but he'd never seen compassion like this. This tiny bird was showing more love, more loyalty, more courage than most humans ever would. Sokka felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. He felt moved. His eyes started to water. A single tear rolled down his cheek, but because he was a god, that tear wasn't normal. It was magic. The tear fell from his eye, and as it fell, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. By the time it hit the ground, it wasn't a tear anymore. It was a rainstorm. Rain started pouring down on the forest. Not normal rain, magical rain. Heavy, powerful rain that fell like a waterfall from the sky. The parrot looked up, confused. Where did this rain come from? The sky had been clear all day, but he didn't question it. He just kept flying. River, fire, river, fire. Now with rain helping him, the rain got heavier, it fell on the flames, steam started rising. The fire started getting smaller. More rain, more steam. The flames were dying. Within minutes, the fire was out, completely out. The forest was saved. The parrot landed on a branch, exhausted. His wings felt like they were going to fall off. His feathers were singed. He could barely breathe, but he was smiling, because his forest was still standing. The eagle landed next to him, and then the eagle transformed back into Sokka, the king of the gods, glowing with light. "Little parrot," Sokka said, "you did it." "No," the parrot said. "You did it. That rain came from you." Sokka shook his head. "The rain came from you. Your compassion, your determination, your refusal to give up. That's what caused the rain. I just helped it along." Sokka blessed the parrot. "Because of what you did today, this forest will always be protected. It will never burn again. And you will be remembered forever as the parrot who loved his home so much, he was willing to die for it. One day you will be reborn as a human. And as a human, you will become the Buddha. And you will teach the whole world about compassion." The parrot bowed. "I wasn't trying to be remembered. I was just trying to help." "I know," Sokka said. "That's exactly why you'll be remembered." And then Sokka flew back to heaven. The other animals started coming back to the forest. They saw that the fire was out. They saw the parrot sitting on his branch, exhausted. They understood what happened. This little bird they'd called crazy, This little bird they'd told to give up. This little bird had saved their home, and they never forgot it. So, that's the story. And now let me tell you why it matters. That parrot teaches us something really important. He teaches us that your size doesn't matter. Your power doesn't matter. What matters is whether you try. Think about it. Those drops of water the parrot was carrying, they were tiny. Probably didn't do anything to the fire, but he carried them anyway. Because here's the thing. When you do something good, you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's watching. You never know what kind of ripple effect your actions might have. That parrot didn't know the gods were watching. He didn't know his compassion would move the king of the gods to tears. He didn't know those tears would become rain. He just knew he had to try. And that's what you need to remember. When you see something wrong in the world, when you see someone who needs help, when you see a problem that seems too big to solve, you might think, what can I do? I'm just one person. I'm too small. My actions won't make a difference. But you're wrong. Your actions always make a difference. Always. Maybe you can't solve world hunger, but you can share your lunch with someone who's hungry. Maybe you can't stop all bullying, but you can be kind to someone who's being bullied. Maybe you can't clean up all the pollution in the ocean, but you can pick up trash at the beach. Maybe you can't end all loneliness, but you can talk to someone who's sitting alone. Every single action matters. Every single drop of water counts. You know what the parrot didn't do? He didn't look at the fire and say, "This is too big. I quit." He didn't compare his tiny drops to the massive fire and decide it was pointless. He just did what he could do, and he kept doing it. That's all any of us can do. Do what we can do, and keep doing it. You might not see the results right away. The parrot flew back and forth for hours before the rain came. It looked like nothing was happening, but something was happening. His compassion was building. His determination was being noticed. And eventually, it created something bigger than himself. Your good actions work the same way. You might not see the results today or tomorrow, but you're planting seeds, you're creating ripples, you're moving the universe, even if you can't see it yet.
Here's another thing the parrot teaches us. He didn't wait for someone else to fix the problem. He didn't say, "Where are the big, strong animals? Where are the eagles and tigers? They should be putting out this fire, not me." He saw a problem, and he took action. Right away, with what he had. That's what heroes do. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for someone stronger or smarter or more qualified. They just start. You can be that kind of person too. You don't need to wait until you're older or bigger or more powerful. You can start helping right now with whatever you have. Your kindness might seem small to you, but to the person receiving it, it might be everything. Your effort might seem tiny to you, but combined with other people's efforts, it becomes something huge. Remember, the parrot's drops didn't put out the fire by themselves, but they started something. They showed the universe that someone cared, and that mattered. One last thing. The parrot stayed when everyone else left. His friends called him crazy. They told him to give up. They told him he was wasting his time. And you know what? They weren't wrong. By normal logic, what the parrot was doing was pointless. The fire was too big. The drops were too small. It didn't make sense. But the parrot didn't care about normal logic. He cared about doing what was right. And that's what separates people who change the world from people who just watch the world. People who change the world don't worry about whether something seems possible. They just do what needs to be done. So when people tell you you're too young to make a difference, prove them wrong. When people tell you your actions are too small to matter, prove them wrong. When people tell you to give up because the problem is too big, prove them wrong. Be like the parrot. Grab your drops of water and fly toward the fire. You never know when your tiny effort might become the rain that saves the forest. Subscribe to Better Buddhist for more stories that'll make you think differently about what's possible.